Well, I am stuck in the middle with you, is what's playing right now on the AFUL Cantor. And this is the flagship IEM from AFUL, and it's the first review of the day, and holy God, did I pick a weird one. So, for those of you who don't know, AFUL, which has the most awful name in all of audio, because they picked it, has made some of the most weird advancements in like IEM stuff in like ever. Like their Performer 5 was the first one I got, and it used an actual physical PCB printed like crossover to do the awful switching between the awful things. And that was beaten by the awful Performer 8, which had 8 more drivers with the same sort of tech. And then the awful Explorer came around, and it was a simplified version. Love that, no questions. I have more questions about the Cantor than I do about the Explorer, because this is about science. She looks like she's in school and she's going to study science, and she's very excited. I imagine everyone working on this 14 balanced armature in-ear monitor, 14 is that many each side, so 28 total balanced armature. IEM was exactly as excited as she looks, which is why I picked that wallpaper available in the thing. Support me on Patreon, subscribe star. I'm just going to blot that out like I have a thing. So let's look at this $800 IEM, because it's $800. And, you know, they tell you the whole story, and they tell you all sorts of things, and it doesn't start getting interesting till you deep dive. This is like Maiden Abyss, the map from Maiden Abyss, where there's level 1, then level 2, and then 3, and then you really can't come back from 4, and then, oh god, 5. So we start with the weirdness at the dual-channel acoustic maze technology deep elastic bass, which, dual-channel acoustic maze technology. This technology is 3 different technologies in the front of this box. So we're gonna scroll through them all, because I need you to understand what I'm listening to before I actually talk about how it sounds. So we saw something like this in the Magic 1. Remember the Magic 1? It used like a maze of tubes to create bass out of a single BA, and it did amazing stuff. Patent pending. You could even QR code scan to look at the patent number. They're so happy they got a patent. We have a patent. Anyway, so apparently this composite drivers, one of the ultra low frequencies, 10 to 100. It goes through this chamber that's 3D printed magically, and you get low end out of it. Okay, cool. That sounds interesting. I'm glad you put that in your flagship. What else did you do? Okay, so how about some non-destructive direct drive topology technology? Say that 5 times fast. Non-destructive direct drive topology technology, 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 non-destructive direct What the fuck are you saying? Anyway, so apparently they just shove a bunch of stuff. Instead of the conventional way where they take like multiple balanced armatures and shove them into a tube, they have an anti-resonance installation with a step catheter, because catheters, that just screams audio. And it does a thing, and they got them binded together. I don't know. But then we get to the multi-dimensional frequency division architecture technology. Where's Rick Sanchez to help explain all this shit to me? Because I feel like Morty right now. Anyway, it shows a typical one, and then there's that. It's like a lot of stuff happening with the acoustic maze A and B. And then you're doing the thing with the direct drive topology, and then the intermediate frequency phase interference suppression. I'm pretty sure the Starship Enterprise at some point had intermediate frequency phase interference suppression on or damaged during an attack with the Klingons. You know what? I'm not even gonna you can keep looking at the RLC frequency division networks and look at the response graphs, and then can we get to the nickel plated? All right, it gets to some weird shit here. Less wild tech and more like, hey, why hasn't anyone done that before? And oh, that's why. Tip for the best experience: use the official silicone tips, which, by the way, big case here. There's the silicone tips in the case. See that edit there? Because the camera killed itself in 5 minutes. So yeah, Star Trek shit. Moving on. The physical tuning change they did is something that I've asked, why don't they do this? And that's because physical risk of harm can come to you. Because where a normal IEM tip is just a plastic or metal nozzle that goes about halfway up the actual, fucking tip, this has a sharpened metal stainless steel tube that is designed to go to the end of your tip. So I went through all the silicone ones. Thought the treble was a little spicy. And none of them posed a problem except for this wide nozzle velvet tip, which I really like the way they feel, and it actually changed the sound. But as you can see, that is a very dangerous thing to put in your ear, because I actually did put it in and I felt a little bit of scraping. And I'm like, oh, nope, let's not do that. That's why there's a warning on the thing to not try other tips. That said, I'm going to recommend Dakoni foams, because the other tips, as long as you get them in there, and you have to go past the metal onto the plastic, and then you're going to see the metal and be like, but the tip will form around it and you will be protected. Now, tuning of these. 14 balanced armatures is a lot. More than a few by a bunch. And going with my love of the Explorer and the simplicity of it remains to this. Those were 100% a 10 out of 10. These, I've had to work on it. Because the problem is, there is so much clarity in every frequency that it's like, oh God, it's like I like to back the fuck up. So, 2 things to help. Number 1, warmer amplifiers. This side of the desk, sort of like the clean, cool, responsive. This is like my neutral. The Atom 2 is always here as, it's fine. It's perfect. It does everything I want. It's not too shrill. It's not too warm. It's my assessment amp. The Orchard Audio and the Topping A90D are a little bit clinical, or a lot of it clinical in some cases. So when you plug things into that, you get no softening of anything. But you come over to the IFI, which has, bass boost if you want it, or you got the K11 R2R, and there's the RME, which is like, oh God, the RME. It's a little bit softer, a little bit warmer. And I'm going to recommend you put these on a slightly warmer, slightly softer amplifier, whether it is a portable DAP or dongle, something like the Quest style M15 is not quite warm, but actually not a little awful one either, but like the Oun Yuki is, and like different DAPs. But then the tips were chosen because I was having it was a little bit bright, just a smidgen bright with all the silicone tips I tried. It got better on the velvets, and I think the velvets might have actually been because they're the wide bore. There was just more room for it to expand. So what they've done with the metal here is they've eliminated the fact that most IEMs, the sound travels, halfway through the tip, and then it comes out of the IEM itself and into whatever. If it's a silicone line thing, it's whatever. It's foam like this, it's whatever. So they're trying to eliminate that with the metal extension. So it is a good idea. It's just, I wish they didn't do it with a sharp stainless steel tube, for an $800 IEM. That said, let's put them back in my head now that the camera's not going to freak out, right? Fucking your card is writing slow. I hadn't formatted the card in so long that it actually errored mid-review. And then I didn't hear it because I'm wearing IEMs, because it's such a quiet beep on the goddamn DJI. And then 5 minutes later, it turned off. And I'm like, well, I noticed that. So, yeah, threw away my first take. I got the first 5 minutes, that exciting enterprise ship, but then I had to go format cards and get a drink, cookies and milk, and went. Okay. Understanding that I did a little bit of adjustment with, the different amp and the different tips to get these to where I was satisfied. Now that I'm satisfied, these are an $800 IEM with 28 total balanced armatures. Holy Jesus. You know it. You sit here and you hit play. I'm turning it down. I'm not turning the volume up. Usually when I like something, I turn it up. I'm turning it down. We have got, and this is just a woman singing. This is a tech demo in an IEM. Hearing the frequent, if I didn't know it was a 14BA, I would guess that the design and architecture of this was a large dynamic for low end, because we'll talk about low end in a second. And then maybe 1 or 2 BAs at an EST. Just to sparkle the top. The fact that it's all balanced armature, and I mean like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. See this grid pattern? From here to there, that's how many different sources of audio are in one side. That's huge. And to cohese that into one ball of sound and trick me is pretty fucking impressive. So now, would I have tuned it differently? And that's another thing. If this was like one of those IEMs with a switch, I would love it. Because, my God, could you adjust? Like, these 3 can be just a little bit further down. This one could have, like, a curve up. And the bass boost. It's just so excited to tell you about the music. That's excitement. That excitement is what this feels like. It's like, have you heard this new IEM? Oh, my God, it's amazing. It does this 14 things. And it's like, holy shit, calm down, AFUL Cantor. I'm listening. And you got to start low. You have to start like real low, like lower than you normally listen to it. Because you're got everything, every frequency. I don't want to say the word bright because that'll get people thinking it's treble, but every frequency is so present. It's like, this would be perfect for people who like measurement graphs, because it's like I've fallen into a real measurement graph and I can just physically touch every sound. It's like, oh, I could feel this frequency. This feels like 2350 hertz. Oh, resolving and clear. Almost to a fault. To the point where, like, if anything has any sort of exacerbated treble, you're going to know it. But then, if we move over to my bass track playlist, because these do claim to have a dual-channel acoustic maze tech just for the bass, and we throw on a song that I figured out during the binary acoustics, the one with the 3 dynamics, MAM Research Monkey Racket from Gorillaz. I don't know if you see it down here. There's just 2 very gentle whoops and whoops, and then it goes into the actual song. And I noticed it for the first time on the binary acoustics. That there's just a, like, I don't even know how many hertz. I wish Fubar could tell me how many hertz. I could put on a thing and it'll show me, but it's like 10 hertz. Just a very gentle rise and fall. Rise and fall. And I never noticed it before. And now that I'm listening for it, you wait for it to go by. That might be less than 10 hertz. That's just ridiculous. And I've got this quiet right now. But there's no denying that when you're sitting here, there's just something doing like this. That is deep. These IEMs run deep. So, and I wouldn't even call them bass monsters because they're too balanced and everything else. Tom Jones is now playing. I didn't plan on that, but Love Me Tonight by Tom Jones. And I can hear the poor recording quality. Clear as a bell. You know when you have like a game and you want to rip out all the assets to a game, and you have like, usually it's one giant like 1 gig file, and you throw it into a thing, and then it breaks it into its original parts, and you could be like, oh, I'm going to steal this model, I'm going to take this sound effect out. This IEM kind of feels like that's what it's doing. It's like you have a song, which is this one cohesive block of sound, and it's just being squeezed through this fucking blender that puts it into 14 individual components. And I know I just said it's cohesive and the same, but it's like it breaks it into those 14 components, and then instead of them being like various levels, it levels them to flat and then feeds it to you as a block. That's the kind of reviews you get here on In-Ear Fetish. I hear everything wrong with Tom Jones' Love Me Tonight. I didn't want to know, but I know because the Cantor is telling me. It feels like the mixing board with all the individual sliders are there, And I can just hear like, and it's positional too. It's like there are sounds coming from, because I know I didn't generalize to talk about imaging, talk about soundstage, Zeos. Soundstage is whatever the track has built into it. It's not exacerbating anything. And imaging, actually, it's probably a little bit less good at imaging than other more cohesive, simpler IEMs. Explorer does way better imaging. But my God, I can. These are the analyzing IEM. I do. It's not like Tom Jones is coming out here, and then the one sound is coming out here, and then the bass is here, and then his backup singers are like not here. They're like 3 floors up over here. It's like, how am I disposing of the sound in such a not disposing? That's not the word. What's the word for like when you can? I know what I've been making up a word. This fucking IM is ruining me. It is not a absolute must buy. All right, it's I am giving all the warnings I can. You need warmer amps. You need different tips. You have to be okay with it literally shitting on your music. Your music bad, you're going to know it. It's like when you walk, when you're like, you ever been to a concert and they're upstairs and they're jamming, then you see the booth where they're controlling everything. And there's just laptops and mixing boards and wires and computers and 4 people, and they're all turning knobs and dials. That's what I feel like I'm doing now. I'm no longer here to listen to music. I'm in that control room, and I feel like I'm missing the mixing board, but I feel like that's what this is all about. It's like it's tearing that magic of music apart and giving me the raw technical data of it. How's that? Good? That a good take? More Tom Jones yesterday. Wait. Oh, I'm on default. I'm about to say, if it shuffled 2 Tom Jones songs in a row, I'm ending this review right now. By the way, yesterday, much better recording. In yesterday. Oh, it's so good. And now we've shuffled to Static X, Kill Your Idols. So that'll be a fun little thing. Let that hit. Just let it hit. You know what? The imaging isn't so bad. It also, here's the thing, like, this is Static X. This is this is like real heavy high school shit. And it isn't, it's not imposing the sort of energy I would expect from Static X. Again, we're not in the front row where the mosh pit is, right by the stage. That's the stage. We're back here. We're in the little safe booth. You're not supposed to put your glasses, your beer down. We're the pros with the real pro headsets on, analyzing shit. This song, which is a brick wall, doesn't sound like a brick wall. Meanwhile, I just said it just, like, what are these IEMs even doing? They're kind of like you gotta hear them to understand them sort of thing. And I'm pretty good at analogies and telling you what you're gonna hear when you plug in, but oh, God, we just got real good. Of course, it's Weird Al. Weird Al eBay. The immediacy of, like, you're now listening to something recorded well just blows my mind every time. And if it's Weird Al's eBay from Poodle Hat, it's just so more balanced than Tom Jones was 7 seconds ago. Yeah, these are giving me schizophrenia in a good audio way. Because I want to keep going. I want to try more amps. I didn't turn on the tube, or I would have warmed up the tube. But I want to try a bunch of different music. Let's go to my actual... So when I do sound demos for headphones and speakers, which you can access on my Patreon and Subscribestar, I have just a list of like 150 tracks. And these are the tracks that sound best on headphones and speakers, all in one playlist. And like Melissa Magnano Little Crimes from the 2020 audiophile sampler pack. Turn it on, and I hear shh. And is that noise or rain in the track? I think it's... All right. I've listened to 6 seconds of this song, 8 seconds, and I can tell you this. She is singing outside. She is under an awning. It is windy. That's where we are. We're at that level of like, oh, clarity. They're definitely not in a closed stage. I hear sounds dipping out around me. That's like, okay, that's the wind blowing, and then someone like closed the door. And it's good echo. She must be in like a covered. I can fucking tell you where the people are because of these IEMs. That's insane. Is that what you want? Is this fun? Is what I'm describing fun? Because I had a whole thing about Eris with the whole thing where it was like, oh, no one's having fun anymore. And I know that there's different fun for different people. And this is kind of fun for me to be like, to just analyze a song. All right, let's see. Something real. KEXP. So I've actually seen the live performance of this. This is a London Grammar. You know what? These are a close your eyes IEM. And it weirdly enough puts you in the place where this happened. And if it sounds like shit, guess what? Your music sounds like shit. This is it's intriguing in weird ways, and I don't know if I would even qualify this as like a musical enjoyment IEM. Because I'm having more fun trying to listen to the space around the music. These might be the most analytical thing that I've ever listened to on this desk. And not flat, neutral, Software Studio 4. I don't know if you could master on these. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, the ideal IEM for mastering music for like recording and listening in the studio would be like, this sounds like shit, do better. And I could tell you from just going through my playlist for a fucking hour, I could literally make a playlist called shit and just move everything that's shit to it. And then I have other playlists where it's like, oh, wow, this was recorded indoors. This was recorded in a large room. This was recorded in a small room. So not shit, but I could, like, dissect the music. It's dissecting the music. The echo in this song is not real. Because there's like an echo. She's like, ah, and you hear it resonate. And I can tell you it's not coming from the room. And I've never been able to say that before. These are not going to be everyone's IEM. Not even close. If you just want something you plug in and you're done, just find something else. These are for psychopaths who are like, no, Zeos. I need... This is worse. This is like Resolve on crack, where he wants to analyze. He doesn't. The human fallibility of this IEM is non-existent. It is actually bypassing the fact it's even an audio playback device, and just feeding the raw file to your brain. That's as close as I can say. Best thing I can say. Is it the most enjoyable? For certain things, yes, but I kind of want to listen to music. I don't want to change songs. I'm changing songs. Yeah, no, if I wore these at night with my eyes closed, I could probably sit there and just pen out. Well, this is a Native American. This is from the James Horner Ghost Dance from the Thunderhearts. Huh? It's a Native American man singing at the top of his lungs. He's approximately 4.5 feet from the microphone. It sounds like it's outside, but there's a little too much echo. Like, that's the kind of, like, attention that these are giving to the sounds, and it's real fucking weird. These are weird. I respect weird. I respect different. And despite all the weird fucking Star Trek terms, I don't know how long this video is now, 25 goddamn minutes. Despite all that shit, all that matters in the end is when I'm listening to it, do I want to keep listening to it? Yeah, I do. For different reasons than I would normally want to keep listening to an IM, because I want to just groove and chill out. This is more like, ooh, I wonder where Ghost Data is all digital. What will that sound like? Ooh, Dire Straits, Sultan of Swing. What will that sound like? It's one of those IEMs. So yeah, it's available now for $800. And it shouldn't be your only IEM, but it might work out if it's just one of them. Oh, by the way, the cable is 4.4. Pretty nice. I don't hate anything about this. Got a little bit of like a beer stein shape to it. Cloth, not super stiff, not super loose. It's fine. Cable's fine. I'm not going to give it high marks or low marks. Get this cool little awful piece of paper with it. And one of those giant cases. One of those cases that's like, by the way, I'm a flagship, which I haven't taken the plastic off the zipper because, well, why would I do that? So yeah, I think I've gone into probably the deepest depths of descriptions that I have in this channel in a hot minute, because I'm trying to find the person for these. As a reviewer, it's my job to not just, oh, I don't like this, so it's not good. This is different, and people out there will like this for what it is. And if I can talk the right words, the right people will buy the right thing. If what I described to you was the right thing for you, you know, and you're going to click the link and you're going to buy the thing. If you're like, no, Zeus, this is all too complicated, I just want simplest, you're done. You've already left this video. You're not even listening to my words right now. That's how reviewers should work. Find the audience for everything. You don't have, try to unbias yourself, and at the same time, find people who are completely against your fucking coat of arms. And be like, by the way, this will probably work great for you. So yeah, I'm linking to this. Thank you, Patreon, Subscribe Star, Wallpaper in the Wallpaper Horde. Yeah, if those are the eyes you're making at the screen right now, going, oh my God, I get to analyze my music in such grave, like, it's actual fun analysis. Unlike a measurement rig, which just gives you a squig, you can become the measurement rig and become the squig. So yeah, check out my support things, and I'll see you all next time. Jesus.